Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I'm the Doc, John Macaroon. Welcome to the Lone Wolves podcast, made possible thanks to On SI. Thank you for hitting the like button. Join in. We got to talk about it. You guys are still hung up on the defensive end position, rightfully so, but I'm in a different spot with it because I've asked Brad Holmes about it since the combine, since the draft, since before the start of the season. So we'll talk about it because clearly, Marcus Davenport is getting evaluations for his shoulder injury. Look, I do think there's some gamesmanship going on. Dan Campbell is not wanting to reveal if Marcus Davenport is going to play against the Ravens. We'll get out there again tomorrow at practice. We'll see if Marcus Davenport is out there. That'll be the first clue. But we got to talk about it. What are your thoughts at this point about the defensive end spot? Get out your frustrations. This is the zone to do it. What is still bothering you about the fact that Davenport's your defensive end, Al-Quadin Muhammad's your defensive end, and Aiden Hutchinson is your defensive end? What is your concern? This is your chance. Let it out so we can move on a little bit. Let it out. Why are you mad? You should be mad. Anakin, shout out to you. Ghetto Boy Juan, shout out to you. He gets in this Sunday is the real test for our D-line. Let's see if we're good, really. Monday, correct, understood. I had a great weekend, thank you. My mom's name is Booner. Hope you had a great weekend, Doc. Monday Night Football is a test. It's going to be a bigger test than the Bears. Again, remember, I read everything. I try to read as much as possible. So when I send an assignment to Vito and saying, hey, look, man, what do you think? It's just the Bears, right? He's like, yeah. He read it too. Tyler Dunn did a 3-part expose about why the Bears are dysfunctional. They're not a good team. You can't sit there and clown Caleb Williams all throughout the preseason and then hype him up and hype up the Bears when you whoop them. That was expected. That's what I told you should happen 3 weeks ago. That was the mission. I use a different phrase that unfortunately nowadays you can't use anymore, but you whoop their ass as you should have. What is the hang up for you guys in the comments, the first 100 people here across 2 platforms? What is your current hang up with the defensive end spot? I can share. Clearly, I'm not as happy as, you guys. Clearly. I mean, I'm with you guys. I understand. The defensive end spot is not where it needs to be. It can be upgraded. But, again, we've been talking about it since April. And it isn't changing all that much. What is your hang-up? What is it that's frustrating so that every time a player gets signed, you guys say defensive end? Every time a practice squad player gets signed, you message defensive end. What is the hang-up? Help me understand. I mean, I've moved on because there's a level of acceptance that when you guys are still, which is funny, asking me to ask Brad Holmes about the defensive end spot. I mean, I'm going on 9, 10 questions about it. And for me, I think that's enough. What's the hang up? It's a big position. And you just saw Micah Parsons get signed. They got Rashawn Gary. That makes 2 outstanding bookends. I get it. What is the hang up? You got to be specific. You got to help the people that are watching this video because there's a large portion of the media that says, all right, move on already. We get it. You don't like the defensive end depth. But Dan Campbell talked about it. He said, we're good again. Because Marcus Davenport, it took 2 games for a question mark to arise regarding his availability. 2 games. Didn't even make it to 3. 2 games. Ankle and shoulder. Anakin, Davenport is still unknown. Clearly, I think Dan Campbell, with certain injuries, is wanting to avoid full disclosure. It's competitive, banter. We'll know tomorrow if Davenport practices. Those are the first clues. What is it about the defensive end spot that has you guys hung up? Is it just that you know that you have Aiden? He's top end. He's going to make $45 to $50 million. Anakin Davenport is still unknown. And I think part of it is that you see that the sack totals only come in garbage time so far this year. That when you played a good team and a good offensive line, there was no pressure. When you played the Commanders, there was no pressure. I get it. You want more. And as you should, really. I don't think you should stop. If that's how you truly feel, share your feelings. That's the opinion. You don't believe that the Lions' defensive end spot is solidified. But they've told you, this is what we got to the table. We got Wheat waiting. He hasn't been active yet. But you got really 3 defensive ends. And I probably, realize that eventually Ahmed Hassanin will join that mix. For the hits, gets in. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Habibi. Hope all is well, brother. Habibi, this world's good. I've been treated good. People reading the site, people engaging, people talking. Jorge gets in with an answer. What is it that's hanging up everybody about the defensive end spot? Jorge says, it's simple, Doc. You need to complement the other end position. Our pass rush is lame duck, period. Look at the tape. Winners get the missing pieces, period. I feel like you encapsulated that whole segment. I don't even know if anybody's going to top that comment. Welcome, welcome to the chat. Maybe it's the first time I think I saw you. Great comment. A+. That's a great comment. I'm just going to leave it up there for a minute. You don't believe that Davenport complements Hutchinson. It's kind of the same kind of player. And they got another one who's very similar as well in Al-Quadin Mohammed. Winners get the missing pieces. And I think you guys should continue to hammer it. Don't stop. Don't let reporters or media tell you how to feel. If you feel like that's the position to get, keep talking about it. I'm of the opinion because, I can go months and hammer the same topic over and over. But for me, it was February, March, April, May, June, July, August. This is 8 months of this. And I feel like I've come to some acceptance that you guys are talking about what Brad Holmes should do. And I've moved on to, I kind of feel like there's some acceptance that he's already done it. I'm not happy about it, but that's it. I've moved on to something else, which is the offense looked like it did last week. The offense against the Bears looked like it did last year. Wasn't that my thesis? You can run last year's offense. So is it feasible? Yes, it is. Theoretically, should they have did that against the Packers? That's all everybody wanted to know. Theoretically, feasibly, John Morton figured out John Morton's offense pretty fast. Aha! Motions. Sitting in the barbershop, probably in Rochester. Aha! When you run the motion, Mr. Morton. Aha! When you run the motion, everything opens up. Aha! It's from Coming to America. Aha! The motion. Aha! What? It wasn't that much of a big, deep concept. Just run what you did last year, bro. That's it. Not that deep. It's not even that angering, in my opinion. Bro, is it feasible you could run last year's offense? You should have just been like, yeah, we can run it. We got Amon-Ra St. Brown. We got Jared Goff, NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He could have cut a promo. Instead, they tried to act like I don't watch football or that I'm scared to even ask about it. What was drastically different, Mr. Macaroon? I don't know, but it looked like sour milk. It was terrible. Aha! Motions to that degree. Off tackle runs. Using your tight end to pull. Everything I said in the preview. Remember what was said in the preview, which is, aha! Run the ball. Set up through the pass. Pass the ball, get going. Amon-Ra St. Brown crossing route. Boom. Opens up the lanes for the running game. Aha. Simple stuff. It's important. The question is, why are you guys hung up for months, 8 months on the defensive end spot? Even I have started to move on. I get it. I've stamped your approval that it is an issue. It's an issue. Syndicate gets in, my man. Don't hurt this man's feelings. And you stop fibbing to your people. You're not the least liked person out there. There's got to be someone more disliked than you. Has to be. Don't worry, John. I'll ride this defensive end train till it falls off. Brad dropped the ball. It'll be clear after this year. The fans are noticing. It's true. It's true. You guys keep fighting. Hey, listen, even me, I'm old. Keep fighting the good fight. If the defensive end spot doesn't make you satisfied, keep messaging. It's well within your right. It's an important position. You can never have enough pass rush help. Why are you mad? Syndicate has his position. Corey, this ain't the Bears. People need to realize that. Yeah, this will be a nice test. You got to move the football. You got to play good defense. We're going to talk about that. Terrion's getting some heat from the media, and he's getting picked on by the opponents. That's not good. Opponents are like, that's a weakness. That's not good. That means they've targeted, we're not throwing at Reed, we're going to throw at Arnold. That's not good. Man-to-man's hard, but it's too bad. That's the position. If he's hurt, sit down. The run game wasn't great against the rush defense, wasn't all that great against the Bears. But luckily your offense carried you. Now, what if we just throw out ideas that Brad Holmes is like, guys, we just got to hold on defense. Just hold on. At the deadline, everybody and their moms thinks that they're going to get a defensive end. I'm thinking they go offensive line and wide receiver. That they're going to just power through the narrative and just say offense wins championships in this day and age. And just hold on to win. I hope Brad steals this. Brad, steal this. It's well within your right. Steal it and credit Derek. To win, trust in Al-Quadin. To win, trust in Al-Quadin. To the Lombardi, baby. To win, roll with Al-Quadin. Does that do anything for you? He's a good player, but he's a role player. And it was tough. Like, I tried, and it was bad timing on my part. I've spoken to him once. And if you want to go, Derek, you got to see this. The man wore velour suits on Hard Knocks, and the Bears were, like, making fun of him. He wore velour into the meeting rooms. And I saw it because I don't know whether I was Googling it or I was looking at Bears Hard Knocks. Last year, by the end of the season, it came across my timeline. Type in Al-Quadin Muhammad, velour, Chicago Bears Hard Knocks. He's wearing velour in the meeting room, and all the Bears guys are like, so me, the season's over, so I go up to him and I'm like, hey, you want to talk a little bit? He kind of shut me down. It was cold shoulder. Nothing. There was nothing there. So I said to him, okay, no problems. But I said, hey, I'm just kind of wondering. I saw the episode with the velour suits. You rocking that stuff here? I try not to laugh because it's velour. And maybe I could rock that too. And I'm probably saying it wrong, but velour suits. And I said to him, do the guys here like joke around a little bit about that? Like, do they? Because I would be like the Bears. He played for the Bears, and they were making fun of him. I would be the same way. I'm like, dog, you're wearing velour here, man. Like, we're a sweats and t-shirt kind of town. We're not used to our defensive ends wearing velour. He'd be like, shut up, you and your ugly ass collared shirts, looking like 1945 reporter. But I said, are the guys a little bit nicer here? He's like, yeah. He's like, The Lions defensive ends are not making fun of his outfits. They're like, they let you be original in Detroit. But go check it out. Oh, DM5, you're hurting my heart here. I talked about this with my wife today. I'll share a little bit what I said. DMV5 TV. Doc, you need to request a one-on-one with Brad Holmes. Build him up for 10 minutes, praise him for 10 minutes, and then get him with the tough questions. No, man, look, they would be prepared. I said that today. I woke up 6 o'clock, started reading some articles. I read 2 different articles about Terrion. One article said Terrion is not that bad. And then the other said he had a bad game. So I was like, this is kind of funny. And I said, all right, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm making excuses for him. I don't think he's 100%, but I didn't think his game was that great. So I didn't get the other opinion that guy wrote. But Jared Goff on his day off did an interview with a guy in his car. It's Mark Sanchez. And I said to myself, man, I at least like to be in a studio. I don't really find car interviews that interesting, but the show's called Rear View. It's a good interview. Jared Goff is candid. He's funny. They make fun of John Morton's tattoo. They talk about Morton as a person. They talked about Jared Goff said, hey, we're happy that he brought a better plan this week, acknowledging that the first plan was terrible, that everybody knew. And my wife's like, what are you listening to? And I said, Jared Goff's talking to Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez with the USC. There's a connection to John Morton. He's a former player. And I just said to my wife, I said, I think I'm losing that battle with the guests in regards to getting players. I'm not a former player. I would, be prone to ask questions that they don't want to answer. And, I said, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to interview the Lions players, but I do it every day in the locker room. And it's just hard to coordinate because I'm busy. Like today I was doing stuff beforehand, grabbed a bite to eat, was watching McAfee, got some Chinese food. And I said I'd be here at 1, but I got here like 1:15. I'm busy. So it's hard to coordinate with the Lions because you say, okay, I want to interview this player at 3. They'll say, okay, 3. And then they might change it to 4. Well, if they change it to 4, that upsets my whole schedule. Yeah. Butt fumble Mark. Talk to Jared Goff on YouTube. Find it. I clipped it. If you follow at Detroit Podcast, I took 2 clips and shared it with you guys. The funny ones. So it's just tough because I've chosen another life too in psychology. It makes my life busy. I'm only locked into certain times and it can only be like Tuesday at 3, 6. I try to tell them I'm flexible, but they have meetings and everything like that. And yesterday was kind of like a mini off day. Yesterday and today, there's no Lions coverage. So we're just trying to recoup, trying to build up the energy for next time. So it just feels like a losing battle, but I'm not going to give up. But I don't feel like Brad Holmes is going to sit down with the doc anytime soon. Maybe, put on the suit, copy Brad Galley, sit in those white. I'd be like, listen, man, I'm the doc. I don't need those white chairs you're putting for the people. Like, can I get like some other chairs here? They'd be like, sure, bring them. I'm like, no, you bring them. They'd be like, no, you bring them. Be like, listen, man, you're interviewing professional people. You give Dan Campbell more than a steel chair. But that's just minor critiques. Credit to Brad, to all the TV people. I'm not inclined to want to go into TV, but that's where the fun is. That's where the requests are more like, yes, whatever you need, Brad, whatever you need. You want 10 minutes? Take 15. Whereas for me, it's like, John, we gave you 10. Can you wrap it up in 7? Thanks. Hurry it up. Dan's got like 19 more people he wants to talk to. Be like, I thought we gave 10 minutes. Nope, sorry, 7. But to win, trust Al-Quadin. Are we on board? To win, trust Al-Quadin. Al-Quadin Muhammad. I'm not feeling the love from you people, the first 200 people. First of all, smash the like button, all super chats. Get to the front of the line. It's like crickets in here. Does Al-Quadin Muhammad not move the needle? What's wrong with you people? He's got what, 6 pressures or so? 1 sack against the Bears? Are you not moved by Al-Quadin Muhammad? Go check out his velour outfits on Hard Knocks. Corey, my God, what people don't see about not having pass rush help, it's almost laughable that when we're knocked out of the playoffs for that same reason, they still wondering why. And that's why we air it out here, Corey. You have a platform, and that's why I wanted to do this. People will know. This is why people are upset. Brad says defensive tackles can be defensive ends because they like that flexibility. On passing downs, they're counting on Hutch and all their DB pieces because it's cheaper bill. This is your support group. Why are you guys hung up on the defensive end position still? Do you need to see more from Al-Quadin Muhammad if Marcus Davenport can't go? It's clear. Okay. I think we can surmise that Marcus Davenport, until he has like 2-3 sacks in a big game, maybe this week against the Ravens or against the Eagles, he needs a big game and a big moment to get you guys on board. Is there anything Marcus Davenport can do to get the Slappies to say, I'm sorry? You guys wanted to say sorry to John Morton after the Bears game. That was crazy. For knocking out the Bears? Come on, you don't get sorry. You get, in some sense, you get more mad. What prevented you from doing what you did in week 2 and week 1? The weather, it's the Packers. The Packers were instilling their defense. I don't care. Instill your will on good teams. I don't care. No excuses. I don't care. It's kind of the same thing the coaches say. I don't care. Against a good defense, score points. I don't care. Run the Ben Johnson, John Morton offense. Good team, bad team, every week. I don't care. Run the offense. Score points. I don't care. Simple as that. Anakin says, Doc, I'm over it. I've wasted too much energy on defensive end. But now, unfortunately, you can't get away from it because one of your key guys is hurt already. Do you trust Al-Quadin Muhammad? Do you trust? Because Dan Campbell doubled down again. The reason why we're talking about this, I'll put the banner in. He said it again. So being that I watch and listen to everything Lions related, as I should as a professional, I don't just say. And if you guys want a sidebar, man, Sam Roberts did a hilarious bit today talking about how the media treated Howard Stern. It was literally exactly the nature of my complaints with the media. He's like, they didn't understand Howard's bit this morning. They published wrong stuff. They talked about wrong stuff. He's like, I've never seen anything this crazy in my life. It's really good. Sam Roberts, Howard Stern. It's really good. 15 minutes going. I've never seen anything like this. Dan Campbell goes on the radio. He was supposed to go yesterday, but because of the change in schedule, where there's no media availability Tuesday and Wednesday, Jim Costa, John Jansen, great hosts, great morning show that you can listen to and enjoy every morning with Heather. They go, hey, Dan, what's the update on Marcus? Nothing new. And they go, okay, if there is some situation in which Marcus is not there, are you good with the defensive line depth? He's like, we're good. We made some acquisitions. We're good. He's doubled down. We're good. And that phrase, I think, has sparked all this conversation. We're good. Guys, you got to also remember they have to say things publicly because they do have players on the team, but they do have tryouts. Remember, they had an injury to Shane Gilstra. They brought people in. They have tryouts. So the job of a coach is twofold. One, you can't publicly say we're not good because then you're going to upset Al-Quadin Muhammad. He'll be sitting there in his velour suit and be like, wait, they don't like me? And that could impact production. He's got to talk to the locker room and talk to the people. But I just think Dan needs to drop one of these lines next couple weeks. John Jansen for the third time next week when the Lions get 1 sack against Lamar. Are you comfortable with the defensive end position? Dan, do not say we're good. Eliminate those 2 words. You say it's a position that we love right now because we got Aiden Hutchinson. I believe he's top 5, and we got him, I think, for the next handful of years. We're set at that one spot. The other spot, it's a work in progress. We need Marcus Davenport to step it up. We need to see that if there's one-on-ones, Marcus wins it. And he needs to show people and get him on his bandwagon. And if there's ever a defensive end that we think can come in and get sacks every single week, he'll be on this roster. He needs to just say it loudly. If there's a defensive end, and he could say, tease it a little bit, lie to us, massage us a little bit, Dan. Just say, and there's a deadline there's a deadline coming up here. And I know me and Brad will look at every single option to make this football team simply amazing. Just say it. Say it a couple times. That's all. I think he needs to say it a little louder. So that I think he needs to produce a headline out of it. There's a trade deadline, and if some teams fall off here, we'll go shopping. That's a great headline. Dan Campbell, we'll go shopping. But you keep saying we're good. Nobody likes that phrase because you're not good, and your rush plans haven't been great. Against the Bears, you got some sacks there when you were dominating. You need your offense to carry you in the first half, and that touchdown to St. Brown at the end of the first half was a dagger to the Bears. Chuck gets into the chat. I believe they do explore all options, just not the options that you people in the chat want. Comment respected. Duly noted. Entered into the record at 30 minutes into the program. 225 people across 2 platforms. Hit the like button for me. Bobby gets in. If Al-Quadin was so good, he would already be the edge number 2. And there's a valid point. Duly noted. Entered into the record. Al-Quadin Muhammad has been a reliable player, and here's what he does. He brings to the table. He is consistent. He steadily gets better, and he is somebody the team knows what they get. So the Lions, the way in which they understand the position, they don't expect Al-Quadin Muhammad to be Aiden Hutchinson. They understand his role and responsibilities, and he does it for the most part. They would rather know that this is what you bring to the table every day that ends in Y. This is what you are. If you're a B player, be a B player on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's what he is. He's a role player that's consistent and does his job. Makes the coaches very happy because you don't have to know. Okay, I'm not going to ask him to dominate the game and get 9 sacks, but he'll be where he needs to be. He can set an edge. He can do what he's got to do, but there's going to be some times where speed might be an issue. They'll take it, but he's not the answer on a full-time basis because his pay is commensurate with what they think of him. 1-year deal. Guys, contracts indicate quite a bit. Can't wait for Aleem to get back from Chuck. Chuck, hopefully you're having a good day. Thank you for interacting on this great Wednesday. We're having a support group. What is it about the defensive end position that has you guys locked in to be so focused on it that that's all you want to talk about? Now, we're going to talk about other things. We'll talk about Terrion. We'll talk about some other things, some early thoughts about the Ravens. But you got to get it out. Get it out of your system so that you say, okay, I sent it, I posted it, and you get after it. Is there anything that they could do to make it a topic to go away? Is it to trade for Hendrickson now? Now that hopefully the Bengals are going to stink? Is it just Marcus Davenport getting a sack a game when he's healthy and avoiding the, Lions PR tweet? Davenport is questionable to come back. No injury update tweets from Davenport. Is that what's going to take? Just Davenport being out there, a sack a game, be impactful in key moments. I could agree with that. What we say is in soccer, when a team adds another team in a transfer and they don't have a goal yet, they're waiting for him to open his account. Davenport has to open his account with the Lions fans. I get it. I think it could happen. I think he'll open his account. He'll garner that respect this year. He wants it. He wants it bad. He's got to bet. Hopefully these injuries, these nagging ones, are out of the way early. But that position's a tough position. He's in a contact sport. And he may just be the body type that's just going to be struggling to withstand getting battered along the defensive line position. It's tough job to be a battering ram. Lion King, A. Williams. Marcus Davenport is better than Al-Quadin Muhammad, who's a linebacker by trade. Jeff O'Neill gets in. Branch is their second best defensive player behind Hutch. Can't argue that. Are you concerned about the defensive end spot this week, particularly against the Ravens? It's going to be tough to keep the edge. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We talked to the defensive coordinator Friday. I'm very curious about that kind of talk. How are you going to set the edge? Are you going to use maybe at times Anzalone as a spy? So you got me probably for another half hour maybe or so before I run out of here. I got to write the Jared Goff story. He's the defensive player of the week for the NFC. He was on the radio today. I haven't heard it yet. Man, Jeff, thank you so much. What do you like about it? I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Jeff O'Neill, great show. Man, that's really nice. Thank you. What do you like? What do I got to keep doing? What would need to come happen on the field or posted online to make you guys feel so much better about the defensive line position? What would it be? Tell me. I mean, just by nature of time, I'm over it. But I agree with all of you. If you guys are, because remember too, I'm hardcore in it, reading everything, watching everything. So the word defensive end has been in my brain for like 50 million times, maybe a little bit more than you guys. Because it's the job. You guys can switch it off and go watch the Tigers and get embarrassed by the Guardians. I can't turn it off. I'm over it. I want to talk about Terrion. I want to talk about John Morton. But I sense that you guys are hung up on it, so we're always going to talk about it. But I encourage you, if you dial into the Lions and that's the only thing you think about, keep messaging. It's your team too. Nobody has the right to tell you what to comment. It's a free community. It's a free community, and the Eagles showed you that you can win a Super Bowl without blitzing. That's crazy. That is legit crazy. It should not be stated, and it should always be brought up in defensive end conversations that if you have with media, say, did you know that the Eagles were able to win a Super Bowl without blitzing? You know how hard that is? That's what I think kicked off right from January and February that, yeah, you can do that with great defensive line play. So keep doing it. Keep asking. The media is like, why would you talk about Tanner Engstrand already? Because he was on the team and he also knows your secrets. So we're going to talk about him. The second that Tanner was hired by the Jets, we're going to talk about him. Just because you don't want to talk about him, too bad. I talked about him in the first game of the preseason. I'm like, oh, I like this. Man, though, Justin Fields had a rough performance that last week. He didn't look all that great against the Bills, but that's the best team in the world. So that's an education for Tanner. John Morton comes off as pretty hard. Mark Sanchez is like, this guy's vicious. He's vicious with the faded tattoo on his ankle. Vicious, but the guys are clowning on him. Chuck, I'm not hung up on it whatsoever. Rent is due, and Branch, Laporta, Campbell, Hutch, Gibbs are coming to collect. We have to develop a defensive end, because we have to keep this core together. Guys, we have a voice of reason. I respect Chuck immensely. He's willing to stand and say, this is the reason why. This is not something to get all that mad about. We know why Brad's not hyper-focusing on the other spot. There's other bills to pay. Chuck, you can't argue it. Smart. Thanks for sharing it. Reason is hard to debate. But, Chuck, that's what I get paid to do. Your comment is reasonable. But you know, some people don't pay the rent. Malik Macaroon doesn't pay the rent. Malik Beasley Macaroon doesn't pay the rent. Let me tell you why. Not because I'm influenced by a basketball player, but because I say, take a swing. Maybe you don't pay J-Mo, you don't pay Aiden, you don't pay Kirby that contract. You ride it out, use some of the tools that you have to extend it out, and you take a swing for a Trey Hendrickson. Malik Beasley Macaroon says rent doesn't have to be due, per se. They haven't paid Aiden yet. They went out and spent it on J-Mo. You didn't have to do that. Now, I know it kicks in 2027. We all know that. But you don't have to allocate these funds because most people don't believe you're going to have two safeties making $30 million a year. You could have kept it all flat. We ain't paying. We're the Bengals of the develop plan. We draft, but we don't maybe pay some. Of course, I like who they paid. Jared, Panay, Amon-Ra. That's okay. You could have avoided Kirby. You could have avoided Aiden. You could avoid J-Mo. And you just say, we're going to allocate the funds for one or two external final pieces. This is our swing. Maybe three pieces. Three $10 million pieces right now. Or one $20 million piece. Or you just splurge and you get Trey. And you say, this is our 2-year window. Now is the time. You just declare it, put it on the table, make your move, and you go 25-26. If we don't win it, it's a teardown. See you, Branch. See you, Laporta. See you, Jack. I love your guys' loyalty to the players, but you could dial it down 6% and maybe get a little bit further. Maybe. No, Mark. I'm perfectly fine. Why would you ask that? Put that out there. I am a little sniffly at the moment. I'm running around town with the kids' soccer, and my whole family's sick, but I'm in perfect health. Why? It reaches the same spot. You paid all these people, and I don't see any rings. We're at the same spot. I want to pay everybody because I can, and that brings loyalty to the locker room. You know what brings amazing pleasure to the fans? Rings. You know what brings Super Bowls? Big-time acquisitions at the right time. Eagles, Saquon Barkley. Rams went with Odell Beckham, Von Miller. So, it's a different way of looking at it. Now, it's just to argue Chuck's point that draft and develop can be great. Maybe you take a swing and you get somebody opposite of Aiden and you have a chance. And you're not talked about as a tier 2 Super Bowl caliber team. You're tier 1 with the Ravens, Bills, Rams, and Eagles. It's not tearing down the roster. Mark, they haven't earned anything. Zero rings. Nothing. Their account is just they got as much in their Lombardi Trophy room as I do. It's not tearing down the roster. It's could the roster be better? And it can always be better. The answer is always yes. So you got to remember, until they show that they can win a Super Bowl, there's always going to be discussions about who you paid, who you didn't pay. And Mark, being a slappy's fine. It's nice. But that doesn't spur discussion, doesn't spur ideas, fostering. What do you think the Lions sit there and go with Brad and Dan? They go in their own private room without the media. They go, we're good with Al-Quadin Muhammad. Hell no. They're looking at 50,000 pieces of film to see if there's anybody out there in the world that can be better. Come on, man. You got to know the difference between public talk and keeping everything kosher and the reality of the NFL. If there's a guy out there that could be better, they'll go get him. Hopefully. But there's a valid discussion regarding how Brad Holmes drafted at certain times and the lack of external free agents. You got to hear it, because guess what? I'm a loud voice and I'm going to say it. So unfortunately, there's a guy in the media that is not on the kiss ass train in any capacity. It's you won 52. And luckily the Lions said it. I'm really happy. Marcus Davenport. Now I got that way too. Marcus Davenport told me, I said, man, what's it like? I just wanted an easy question to Marcus. I said, what's it like to see the full power of the offense? They dropped 50. He's like, they could do better. Dan Campbell said, we left points on the board. I love that. You dropped 50 points. You're telling people you could do better? I love it. That's the answer. That's the secret sauce. You dropped 50 points. Why didn't we do more again when we had turnovers? Beautiful talk. That's the way champions talk. But champions are built with some external free agents that are really talented and can stay healthy. It's not 2023 when we got a shot. We're going to bring you guys Donovan Peoples-Jones. And you all tricked me for a minute. I was like, wait a minute. This ain't going to be that big a deal. How's he going to get the ball? You got Amon-Ra, you got Josh Reynolds, and you got a tight end. How the hell is this guy going to get the ball? Are you guys feeling a little bit better, airing it out a little bit today on a Wednesday? Our defensive line support group. We're not going to do too many more of these because the host has already talked about it for 10,000 times. And it is the law of diminishing return. But if you want to have them, you want to have a defensive end show one more time, maybe. But we'll talk about something else too now. It's been 40 minutes. You've had your chance. Now, I need to know, to win, support Al-Quadin. Do you support this player getting an expanded role? Are you okay with it? Do you think he'll get some sacks? He's going to play more. I kind of felt that way too. For the hits, you're like my mindset. I'm like, I don't really think I'm doing a good job. I got to give the people the money back. Not really, Habibi. This conversation about defensive ends makes me feel like shit, bro. Listen, you know why? This conversation for the hits is funny because everybody's therapy's hard. I just showed you therapy's hard. One session that's why I tell clients, I'm gonna need you for like 90 sessions every week. No, I'm kidding. It's hyperbole. But therapy's hard. You guys have been on this for 10 months. Therapy, it's a tough job. So don't beat up your local reporter. He's also a therapist trying to help people change. And it's hard. That's a tough job too. I like the tough jobs. Asking tough questions and getting people to change bad behaviors. Whoo! I got two crazy jobs. I thought these 43 minutes could at least get you a little bit of laughs and solace that, okay, other people feel the same way about the defensive end spot. Crazy Clown gets in. Man, I appreciate your support, man. I notice you. If that's the same guy on X that retweets our stuff, that does mean a lot. I mean, it truly means a lot. I see it all. I look forward to it when I post something and I see Crazy Clown retweeted it or saw it, liked it. So I appreciate your involvement and your engagement. It truly means a lot. I see it and I value it. It means a lot. Crazy Clown to the doc. I think if the Lions block like they did against the Bears, they will put up 40 and 50 against most teams. I said it. Yeah, they will, but, you know, Tate Ratledge had some missed opportunities as well. Chuck I love it. Chuck, you got to be more, you got to represent. I like having a representative of the positivity crowd. I love it. There's 300 people in here. Smash the like button. Super chats go right to the front of the line. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you know when we go live. I support you. I like people that are convicted and have conviction and that will share it and share it proudly. You don't have to agree with me, but you've been respectful and you do it the right way. It gets noticed. Thank you. He's like, I'm all good. Chuck's like, I support Al-Quadin. I'm in with Al-Quadin for Chuck. 96, baby. I'm in. I mean, I feel like they can do a little bit more, but I love it. Chuck's in. We have representative of the support team. I love it. So make sure you get in the comments too when you see shows and you see what the crowd's thinking. Your opinion's valid and welcomed. Al-Quadin Muhammad getting an expanded role. I'm curious to see how the team responds after the Bears game against the Ravens. All right, one more major topic. Last 15 minutes or so. Unfortunately, it's true. How are you viewing it? I was shocked because I kind of viewed it how one reporter viewed it, that he's getting targeted. Man-to-man coverage is not looking great. The numbers are not looking great for Terrion to start the year. It's not looking great. He has been picked on. He is a player that got hurt, early on in the Packers game, but he got picked on, and there was a play they ran that they tried to take advantage of something that he did against the 49ers last year that was a weakness, and they did it again. He was targeted 9 times in coverage. Ugh. It didn't go right this last week. He allowed a 48-yard bomb and a 17-yard touchdown in the second quarter. Oof. He was targeted 9 times in coverage. Moore got him for almost a 20-yard gain. Odunze got a 12-yard completion in man coverage. Odunze again on an out route for 12 yards. The man can't catch a break. He gets an interception. Finally, like you can see the relief on his face, celebrates in the end zone, and a weak Brian Branch call. The bomb I'm talking about is against the early part. It was against the Packers. He allowed a 48-yard bomb and a 17-yard touchdown against the Packers, and then he got targeted 9 more times against the Bears. He got beat. Listen, man-to-man. Listen, do you guys believe the Lions should be playing this much man-to-man? They tried to play zone. There was miscommunication. There's a Dunze touchdown where you got, which you never want to see. You never want to see Jack Campbell trailing a wide receiver. It's a mismatch. Do you give him the excuse? Do you give him the pass? Jorge says Terrion's injured. Chuck gets in, says don't play. Shep said it. We aren't fielding excuses. So you need him to do better. What do you need him to do more of? I do see a little bit more stickiness. I do see a little bit more awareness, but it ain't Arnold Island. And he might be just impacted by the groin injury. Chuck, Terrion has been getting cooked, sure. I'm hoping he gets the Darius Slay, Rasheed Mathis type of guidance from Reed. Slay started extremely slow, benched. TA can turn the corner, but it's rough. Great analogous comments to Rasheed Mathis and Darius Slay. Detroit fan man, how many were good jokes did I miss so far? We had a good 5-minute segment on. You can rewind it. I have a banner, big and bold. You can see it. No jokes, just direct, fair commentary. Terrion Arnold, what are you seeing from him? Are there concerns? What's your concern level for Lions? Anakin, you don't like the thumbnails? I am being economical. I had 2 of them. You don't like them? With Jared Goff and me? But, or if you're just asking if you know somebody, I have somebody. I've only made 1 purchase so far. I'm trying to keep the cost low. Oh, good. Yeah, I'd say I'm trying to keep the secret sauce of this whole operation to keep the lights on is revenue's good, costs very good. Anakin's like, spend more. Anakin's like, you're the Brad Holmes of defensive ends in your budget. It is not easy to keep the lights on at a media company. But so far, 30-second glaze, so far so good. The company's run well. I'm the CEO, I'm the king, I'm the emperor, I'm the boss. So far so good. 7 years in, what do they call it? P&L sheet's good, accountant's good. P&L sheet's great. What is it, P&L? I don't look at those things. I go, boss man, how do I make more money? All right. How do I spend less money? All right. Save me some money in taxes. God. God. Listen here. What am I paying you for? I did not want to pay this in taxes. What am I paying you for? And he's like, John, calm down. Stop being Arabic. But you're Arabic. I thought you were supposed to save me money. I said, do your job. This tax bill is unacceptable. He's like, listen to the guy Anakin, start spending some money on your damn graphics budget, asswipe. He's like, can't hoard all your money, asswipe. Okay, that was the 5 minutes of glaze. Tax problems are real, and I got them. It's not a problem. It's the same problem everybody else has. I want to pay less of them. God dang it. And let me tell you, this is the time where the check's going to be written in the next 2 hours. I'm taking my sweet ass time. That's why this show might go 3 hours. After this, I'm going home. I got to write 2 checks. My partner wants their cut. Cut. Corey Patterson, that's another thing our locker room is strong. We should be able to pull a guy in and say, hey, this is how we do business. Yeah. Terrion Arnold. Listen, no, never keep your mouth shut. Listen, I told you guys the rules. It's 60 minutes of football and 5 minutes of personal talk. I felt better saying that. You helped me. I feel so much better. Bro, taxes are killer. Listen, I pay a shit ton of taxes. Shit's killer, bro. You want to know why I'm at grumpy in the media room? I'm grumpy. And then Terrion Arnold is not getting any interceptions. I thought he would have had one by now. Tell me about Terrion. What does he got to do better? I feel like it's just the toughest position in sports. To be able to stick with these great receivers, the route combinations that these receivers are able to execute just makes it tough. They're able to get in position to where you can cause miscommunications, the screens, the opportunity to slant and get a running head start and use pick plays. They're just schemed open. It's a nightmare position to play. You're like, Terrion, bro, you want to play wide receiver? Skip this whole cornerback stuff. This stuff is hard. You got another 2 years before he's got to make some plays. Hopefully by the middle of this year, he gets healthy and makes more plays. Early on, he's getting picked on. That's not good. It's not good. No interceptions yet, and it's to a degree now where he's getting targeted. Man coverage is tough, bro. It's a tough thing to master. And also, too, this is where you guys got to be smart, too, and say, if the defensive line was better, I don't think that Terrion would be exposed as much. It would be not a situation in which Caleb has time and quarterbacks like Jordan Love have time to pick you apart. So it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. I want him to do better. Do you think the Lions got to mix and match a little bit better with zone and man-to-man coverage? It's tough. It's very tough. Carey gets in. Like to see that Like to see, you can still ruffle Dan's feather at times. I don't think I really did. The more days pass, the more I feel like I was just the target of their anger because I was willing to ask it. Now, a few days later, the question is really, how come you didn't run the game plan you ran against the Bears against the Packers? Just more motions, more things, run like the wind, get after it. And actually, Jared now said it. Now, I'm not going to bring it up to Dan tomorrow, but Jared did say on a podcast, John Morton brought a better game plan week 2 than he did week 1. I'm just not going to shy away from saying it was not a good game plan. It was not good. So what did they do? They corrected it. They humbly acknowledged a little bit what I said and said, we got to run our offense. Run the Lions offense. What more validating experience than that is that the motions went up. Everybody saw it. The offense executed better. You passed to set up the run, and you had more explosive plays, and you were able to dictate to the Bears what was going on. What more validating experience than just to say, Dan, can you please just run John Morton, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson offense? Please run that. That's all. Don't ever run whatever that was that we saw on week 1. Put it in the garbage and don't ever run it again. Don't just look at that game plan and say, this was our, we started slow. We took it passive approach. We took the approach of dink and dunk and score touchdowns. No. You guys noticed they ran a deep pass to Jamo that didn't connect? Fine. If it doesn't connect, it's an overthrown ball. There were 2 guys within the vicinity of Jamo. Did you see that? Technically, there were 2 defensive backs there. It was overthrown, and that's good. No, the question really, Jorge, would be, why are we still talking about the Bears? Let's talk about the Ravens. He's going to take all the questions. There will be no more. He'll take all of them. All the questions this week are going to be about the Bears. How much confidence did it give you? Do you feel validated? Can you do the job? I'm going to be like, where was that against the Packers, bro? No. Listen, the man, they publicly have said this guy will eat you alive in the practice field. It kind of has that vibe, like he's trying to be real calm. He's trying to be real calm in the media room, but he let it out a little bit. He let out the beast. Can we not talk about the Packers anymore? He almost let it out. I almost got the beast. John Morton has the inner beast inside. He almost let it out. You know what it is when people are like how he presents himself? It's because he out here ready to dog cuss me. He's got to be calm. He's like, okay, let's put on the control handles and we got to talk to this professional, this asshat podcaster in a nice way. You want to know about the red zone problems? We're not talking about the Packers anymore. He almost wanted to let it out. He wanted to let out the beast. I like it though. I like it. At least we know. We know him. We know what he's about now. There's a nasty man in there. Dude, Jared's been talking a little bit. Jared's like, dude, I just got my $50 million check. I'm going to start talking. He's been talking a little bit, letting some of the stuff fly. He's like, Morton will dunk. Mark Sanchez said it, but Jared's been talking a lot. He's intense. He's a perfectionist. He's holding on tight for that calmness. It might come out, but I don't think it'll come out directly toward me. You ain't got to do that to me because he'll know that'll be a story. He'll do it to a respected reporter when it's a topic that hits a nerve. Get ready, guys. John Morton, is he going to let it fly? Is he going to let one fly? Who asked this shit? John Morton, man, he's trying to hold on tight for that calmness. I like it. I love it. DM5, we need to put up 35-40 against the Ravens. All right, got about 5 minutes left. Let me get this last banner. Let me get your first thoughts. And keep in the comments after the show's over. What does Terrion got to do better? Man to man. My early thoughts on the Ravens, simple. You got to make Lamar beat you. You got to load up Tyreek and Roy Lopez and DJ Reader. You got to load up and stop Derrick Henry. It's stop the beast. Stop Derrick Henry, and you got to make Lamar just throw the ball on every down. You got to get a lead. the closer this game is into the second and third, fourth periods, the fourth quarter, it's going to be tougher. The crowd will be into it. The calls are not going to go your way. You got to get out there. And like I said on a previous interview today, if you win the coin toss, take the football. Start offensively. Keep the momentum going. Do not start on defense. You started on defense against the Packers. They marched right down the field, scored a touchdown, and you never had momentum. Take the ball. I don't care about analytics. Take the football. Your offense is your strength. It's not your defense. Take the football. So the Lions are going to call tails. Tails never fails. Take the football, score touchdowns, dance in the end zone. Get out to a 14-0 lead. Get your own momentum. What did you catch on to, Jorge? Mr. Morton is ready to let one rip. Or about the taking the football. Take the football. And listen, I don't just say one thing on X and then say it here. I said it the first time that the Packers scored. I'm like, they should have just. Why would you start on defense? I think that was wrong. The first decision they made was wrong. Your defense is not that great in regards to the way there's a tipping scale. It's not because they don't have good players. The NFL makes it so that there's yardage to be gained in every play. They don't want you to grab. They don't want you to hit. They don't want you to do anything. Nowadays, Brian Branch is so targeted, he just kind of gently hits the guy's head, and it's a penalty. You can't play defense. So why would you start the game playing defense? You just got to hold on. You got to hold on tight. I believe the Lions are going to be very competitive in this game. Their rush defense is not that great. Same blocking patterns, same John Morton time, same John Morton channel. Off tackle left, off tackle right. You highlight Gibbs and Montgomery, you go. The passing game should be great. I don't think you have to pressure Lamar. I think you make him one-dimensional. I think you want him to throw it to the Lions. I think you disguise some of the coverages, make him confused. You want to be out to a 14, 17-3 lead or so, make him throw the ball. Make Lamar's going to throw the ball to Kirby. He's going to throw 2 picks this game. One to Kirby, one to Terrion, hopefully. Maybe one to Alex in the middle there, Jack, where he gets it in that spot. My early thoughts are the Lions are going to be competitive in this game. It's not going to be wild. There's no way. There's 2-3 games the Lions have played where it was awful. One in Detroit, one in Baltimore in Dan Campbell's era. And they haven't been that great. I feel like it's going to be more along the lines of what took place in Detroit. Back and forth contest. But it's going to be prime time. What better way to shut up all the naysayers than to do it in prime time? Do it live in prime time. Do it live in prime time, baby. It's one of those deals where I think Lamar is the X factor, and you got to stop Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry eats, you're done. If the tight end, if that player eats you alive, you're done. Yeah, absolutely. They're okay. Lions have the advantage. Jorge, check out Friday. We do tail of the tape Friday mornings. Who has the edge? Offense versus defense, defense versus offense, special teams, coaching. They're okay. They have the best quarterback, one of the best 5 quarterbacks in the league, but he's turnover prone. He wants to make exciting plays. If you can stay in the game, avoid the initial surge, play well, get some first downs, you're in this game. I'll be there. I'll be there in Baltimore. I'm taking it in. We're getting on a flight Monday morning. Hopefully it all goes smooth, no delays, but we got a window. I got an early morning flight, so if there's delays, I don't got to get to Baltimore till like 4 o'clock. The plan is to get there at 9 a.m. to be in Baltimore at 8:30, 9 a.m. Fingers crossed. I'll be there to bring you coverage. Big game, big time game, big time reporters got to go. Who's that big time reporter we're talking about? Big time game, big time reporters got to go. I kid. Just regular, one of the guys. One of the guys. Yeah, I know. It's starting to hit my tummy a little bit. Yeah, it's battling, man. I'm a grinder. No fear. I'm a grinder. I hate it. I hate the whole idea of it. Morning flight, but I'm made for morning. I'll get up early, get down to the metro, and I'll give a celebratory X post when I land in Baltimore. Big time reporter, got to go to big time game. Thank you guys. That was a fun 66 minutes. I enjoyed talking to you guys. Hopefully our little support group for this hour helps the 300 people that started and those who watch it later. Hit the like button for me. It's about equal, about 150 on X and 150 here. Hit the like button for me. That's all. That's the least you could do, is to say, hey, thanks for coming on, talking about the team, being real, sharing insights into why I do the things I do and how things operate. It's fun. I enjoy it. And so far, so good. They let me back in still. I can still ask questions. What do you know? Still allowed to do the job to the best of my ability. Thank you for listening. Thank you for engaging. You guys helped open my mind a little bit. Great to see new members of the community. Jorge, get after it. I want to keep seeing you in here. Corey, for the hits. John Hughes, legend. Brent DeWitt, man, my man. Appreciate you. Corey P, Jorge, Brent. Appreciate you guys. Carrie S, shout out to you. DM5 TV. It means a lot to see a lot of the same faces. Phil. Always got to shout out to my man, Phil. What did you make of the quick handshake and Ben running off the field early? Ben didn't deserve to be on the same field as Dan Campbell. Ben put together that. That's the motivation for the team. That's embarrassing. I don't care about that stuff. Guys, listen. A lot of people, it feels like, in my opinion, that are online, maybe in media, they aren't athletes. They don't shit talk. They don't do it. They don't compete at the highest level of competition. They just want to laugh and joke with other people and get along. Ben Johnson was pissed that they lost. And also, they played horrible. Remember, Jared said on the podcast today with his friend Butt Fumble Mark Sanchez that he's texts Ben Johnson all the time. They're close friends. But this week, there's no contact. They're competitors. This 1 7-day period, everyone's like, oh my God, Ben said that quarterback. He knows his name. No, he doesn't know his name. Not this week. Guys, it's ribbing. Half the people don't even understand how to do it properly. You know how to rib somebody? Don't say his name. That player. That guy. That's how you rib. Or you joke around in the offseason and say, man, I think Penei Sewell throws a nice fastball. Guys, they're close. They spent hours together. Even if Ben Johnson this last week came out and said, I think Jared Goff's overrated. Publicly, if he said it. The man sat with Jared Goff in a room for a summer, and Ben said, what do you like? And Jared said, I like this, and this. And Ben delivered it. They're like this. They're family. They're friends. They're going to text. But this week, the Lions wanted to curb stomp the Bears. And Ben wanted to do the same to the Lions. But he couldn't motivate his team because Dan is a player. Dan's a former Lion. Dan has the edge over a lot of these NFL coaches because the guys will run through a brick wall for him. The Bears already quit on Ben Johnson. They already got 3 guys ready to roll out. DJ Moore being one of them. They quit on their coach. It's the biggest game of their year, and they laid down in the second half like it meant nothing. It's the only thing that Ben Johnson wanted to do was beat Detroit. Goes to show you. Goes to show you. Listen, handshakes, talking, that's all nonsense. Nonsensical people talk about that kind of stuff. To your point, though, I mean, I do want to dismiss it, but it's just, that's the lowest common denominator of things people should worry about. The F. Ben Johnson chant was epic. I loved it. It's quick. They're all quick. What is Dan? Dan Campbell doesn't have love fest. He's a tight end. Guys, remember too, Phil, with all due respect, Ben Johnson is like Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells. they're not going to do lovey-dovey talk on the field. It ain't going to happen, especially if they lost. They won. It's a handshake, pat on the back, keep it moving. They want to get out of there. What did you want, Ben, to kiss him? Like a big hugging embrace? Oh, Dan, I got a lot of respect for you, bro. Did you have to curb stomp my ass in front of the whole world? It was like he wanted to bury his face. He was so embarrassed. He got curb stomped in a game where that was noted that that's important to him. He should have ran off the field. Nobody takes any stock into that. The players love him. The players love Ben Johnson. There was nobody that said a bad word about him. J-Mo said great things, but this last week, Phil, they wanted to curb stomp him. That's why we all predicted it, because we knew that the Lions players' loyalty to Dan is so far greater. Guys, I hate to say it, but it almost, if you're a general manager, and this is free advice that I could get paid for, if you're a general manager, it almost behooves you. You have to take a former player. You got to take a former quarterback that played in the league, a former tight end, a former linebacker, former offensive lineman. I think the players respect other players because they respect other ballers because they know that guy bled for the Lions. That's why the whole NFL world picked the Lions over the Bears, because the motivation, and they knew the Bears suck. And Ben Johnson's fighting an uphill climb. He's in that Matt Patricia class. X is an old wizard, but can he get players to fight for him? So far, that was the fight. That was terrible. That's embarrassing at the highest level. Your players didn't fight for you. I would be offended. I'd be like, this game's important to me. Do I got to spell it out for you? And that's what you did to me? 52? Quit in the second half? He won't say. Ben was asked. He said, I'll keep it. He'll never say. But I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what he said. He said, eat shit, mofo. See you later. I'm out. I'm the Doc, John Macaroon. Hopefully you laughed. Hopefully something provoked your thoughts. You hear my voice. You know my face. Thanks for hanging out in this fun podcast space. Peace.